Tonight we are dining at David's Club at the Omni Orlando Resort at ChampionsGate. If you don't know, we do dining reviews every single Monday, so be sure to check those out.
So here at David's Club, this is more of a loungy, nicer kind of sit-down restaurant. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I think the best way would be to say that if you're here and you're playing golf, this is an excellent place to kind of come in, relax, unwind, grab a bite to eat, have a drink. So it's not necessarily just a bar or lounge. It is kind of somewhere in between, and it's really nice. It's actually really nice in here, which is great. And they have a really large menu for you to choose from. Soups and salads. They've got French onion soup. I actually did a seasonal chef soup today. They've got a bunch of different appetizers from crispy calamari and sliders, wings, tacos. And then whenever you're looking at the entrees, you've got salmon, grouper, grits, obviously steak, as we all know somebody probably got. And then on top of that, you've got some sides that you can choose from. Silky potatoes, baked potatoes, french fries, broccolini, roasted cauliflower, all of those types of things. But of course, always, this is connected to a bar, and so we have got some drinks. And tonight, even though I've drank half of it already, I have got the Palmer Pick. This is Deep Eddy Sweet Tea Vodka, unsweetened black tea, lemon, and cane sugar. And it is extremely smooth. It's really, really good. It actually comes with a lemon wedge on there, but I squeezed it into there, and it just added a little bit more fragrance, a little more citrusy to it, and it's fantastic.
To start off tonight, I also got a cocktail. I got the Bramble On. This is Belvedere Peach Nectar Vodka, Monin Peach, Lemon, and Orange Juice served on ice. And this was really good. I love peach drinks, and this kind of tasted like fuzzy navel, which is basically peach schnapps and orange juice. However, this definitely had a little different flavor because this was actually peach vodka instead of a peach schnapps. And there was a little bit of lemon in there, give it some more citrus, but it was overall really good. I finished it quite quickly.
Before the entrees and the appetizers come out, they do have a bread service, and tonight it was a dill roll with a cheddar biscuit, not to be confused with the Cheddar Bay biscuits, as you might know from somewhere else, but just as good. It was the first thing I ate, and I basically ate it whole. The dill roll is pretty good. Put on some of the butter. It was more of maybe on like a 2. It did spread a little bit, but it was still pretty cool. So, but really good. A nice kind of opening to your dinner. For my appetizer tonight, surprisingly, I actually went with a soup, and I went with the Chef's Seasonal Soup. This is a creamy potato with broccoli. It was good. It was a nice creamy potato soup. Wasn't extremely heavy, even though sometimes potato soups are a little bit on the heavier side. I think that broccoli helped to kind of break that up a little bit. And then they also had a nice little bit of cheese on top. So it was really good, not super salty, which is what I was kind of afraid it might be, and it wasn't. So creamy, not super heavy, and good.
For my appetizer tonight, I had the DC French onion soup. This came with Gruyere, Grafton white cheddar, and provolone cheeses, and the croutons and onions all inside. This was a really good French onion soup. I loved the beef broth. There was a lot of flavor in there. Maybe a little bit of rosemary and thyme, something I was trying to pick out, but not really sure. But I know there was something super flavorful in there. And then it had a nice broil on top of the cheese. It was wonderful. And I loved all the flavors of the different cheeses on there as well.
All right, so for dinner tonight, I had the seared Florida grouper. This is $35. It is served with butternut squash puree, pancetta, broccolini, blister tomatoes, and a sage brown butter. And this was fantastic. I really like trying to get an entree that is a little bit on the lighter side, and I feel like normally fish is that. Really excellent sear on there, a nice crust on either side of the fish, still nice and flaky throughout the entire center of it, meaning that it was cooked almost perfectly. And then what really helped the dish out was that broccolini with that butternut squash puree. The broccolini adds that nice crunch. The puree has a little bit of sweetness to it. The pancetta and that sage brown butter helped to add a little bit more of savoriness overall to the dish. So I thought this was really good. I really enjoyed it.
For my entree tonight, I had the 8-ounce center cut filet mignon. This is one of David's signature steaks. I got it served with the side of pecan smoked bacon mac and cheese. This is a huge serving of mac and cheese as a side, and then the steak is a pretty good sized steak. I mean, it is 8 ounces, so whatever way you slice or dice it, it's going to be 8 ounces, but it looks very big. I did get it cooked medium, which I probably should have gotten it medium rare so it was a little more red on the inside. However, it is still super tender, which I am really happy about. And overall seasoned really well. It does have a char on it, so that's just something you might want to keep in mind if you don't like charred steaks. However, I like that, so I overall thought this was a really good steak, and the mac and cheese was nice and creamy, super cheesy, and then the bacon added a nice little smokiness flavor in there.
So something else that they are doing right now for a limited time is a sugar and spice menu. This is in celebration of the National Gingerbread House competition. And they invite you to try or taste some sugar and spice. These are some treats and some drinks. And today, I actually decided to go with a cinnamon and spice. This is $13. It is a Sailor Jerry spiced rum, St. George spiced pear liqueur, Monin cinnamon syrup, Q ginger beer, and fresh lemon. I don't know why, but it sounded really good. So I'm definitely picking up on that cinnamon syrup. I can taste that in there. I don't really pick up on the pear. I think it maybe just helps to add a little bit of sweetness to the drink. Definitely another bit of alcohol in there as well, which is really nice. But I think you're really getting the spice from the ginger beer. I think what might make this a little bit better is if they actually serve this with a cinnamon stick. And I would be willing to try this at home, so I'm probably going to take a picture of this menu, and I may try to do this at home, substitute a few of the ingredients, but it's good. But I think if you had a cinnamon stick in there, it might be even better.
So Josh did order some dessert tonight. I, however, am quite full, but I did want a drink from this sugar and spice menu. I decided to get the spiced gingerbread iced latte. It's Monin gingerbread and cinnamon syrup, fresh espresso, milk, whipped cream, and cinnamon sprinkle, and it's actually topped with a little gingerbread man. It is actually quite good. This tastes like an iced latte that you would get at a coffee shop. It is fantastic. There's just enough cinnamon flavor. There's a little hint of that gingerbread in there too, and then I like that you get like kind of the aroma of the gingerbread with the actual gingerbread on top, and then the cinnamon that's sprinkled on there as well. But it is perfect. You do get that espresso in there, which I think is super important when you have a spice, like any kind of latte actually, because I feel like sometimes the milk and the flavors otherwise can overpower the actual coffee flavor, and I like to taste some coffee, so I'm happy that I can.
All right, so we just finished eating inside at David's Club here at the Omni Resort at ChampionsGate.
Yes, and it was quite filling, and it was a pretty good meal.
Yeah, it really was. Again, I think this is a great place, especially if you get done playing golf, or,
Yes.
I mean, even if you're just in the area and you're looking for some place to come in and sit down and relax.
Yeah.
Right now, you know, football's on. If you want to come in, they have a couple of TVs.
Yeah, and then they do have the bar open in there as well, and instead of regular bar seating, they have small bar top tables or high top tables in the bar area, so you can still get that whole bar feeling.
Yep. And, you know, again, they do have an actual restaurant, like a more just like sit-down restaurant, I guess. Not that this one isn't, but it's not open just yet, as, you know, trying to get some tourism back here in Orlando. But this place here, I think it's great just to come in and maybe just have an appetizer and a couple of drinks. Or you can do the whole thing like we did. We had appetizer, we had an entree, we had dessert, and a couple of drinks.
And like Josh said, they do have a pretty big menu.
They do.
So, I mean, you have a lot of options to choose from. And they had a pretty good selection of beverages as well. So.
Yep. In total for the meal today was $180, which does sound kind of expensive. But the quality of the food was still really, really good.
It was. And we each did have 2 drinks as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, you kind of factor that in there.
Yeah. They also have another restaurant here that we're going to try to come back to at some point and eat again. We'll see. We're pretty excited for it, but
Yes, they actually have a lot of restaurants at this resort, so we definitely have to come back at some point and try some of the other ones.
overall, it's really good.
So let us know if you have ever dined here at David's Club at the Omni Resort in ChampionsGate.